And we're giving you something new to look forward to every Monday, Job Center. That's right, it's moved from Saturday, and we've got Bonnie Tunya in our business studio. He's got a guest as well. Good evening, Bonnie.
Good evening, Nancy.
How's it going? Tell us, what are you bringing us on Job Center?
Great. Like you said, Job Center is bigger, better. It's moving from Saturday to Monday. And what we're trying to do is have a conversation that is more geared towards problem solving. We've had a lot of situations, and we've done this in the past on Job Center, where we've highlighted people who are exemplary in their fields of study but cannot get jobs. We've highlighted employers who are looking for these people. We've had that conversation, but what Job Center is doing from today onwards is driving this conversation into a more objective territory. We were saying, why aren't you getting that job? Who has that job? And how does that build a society at large? So it's bigger and better, as you say.
Fantastic. Looking forward to it.
Great. And Job Center starts now. Right, and one of the toughest questions facing millions of Kenyans today is this: where can I get a job? A competitive job market, in a market where job opportunities are hard to come by, makes answering this question even harder to answer. Tonight on Job Center, though, we went to the streets of Nairobi to get your opinion on what else stands in the way in your search for a job that is ever so elusive. Take a look.
You can afford to get a job through the use of your papers, but networking also works very, very well. But you see, even if you had a very nice network and you didn't have good papers, you still may not go very far.
Ya ukiwa umesoma na uko na degrees na pia unajulikana. Kwanza Kenya siku hizi lazima uwe na watu naita godfathers. Ukiwa na hao kupata kazi ni rahisi. Lakini kama huna hao pia huna connection vizuri, sahizi kupata kazi Kenya ni imekuwa na changamoto kubwa.
Unajua kupata kazi hapa, kazi ziko kidogo. Sasa vile ziko limited hivyo, unapata kuwa na competition. Sasa vile kuna competition, vile tuna escape your trap ni kukuwa tu na creative minds. Sasa kwa na hiyo creative minds, si ati government ndio itatusaidia, si ndio tutapata tunasaidia government. So government inaweza kuja kwetu kwa msaada.
It's so hard to get a job really in Kenya right now, because most of the times it is leans more on who you know. Actually, even if at times you have papers, if you don't know any person in the organization, or if you're not linked to someone or a godfather per se, it's not so easy to get a
kazi. Kenya uwe na makaratasi uwe hauna ni sawa. Tuna wengi ambao wana madegree na hawana kazi, na wengine hata unakuta mtu amesoma na masters analandalanda tu hakuna kazi. Sasa tunashangaa tunaelekea wapi? Sijui kama ni tuache kusoma ama tuache kusomesha watoto. Hiyo inastua sana.
And we seem to be getting more questions than answers from the streets of Nairobi, where getting a job is ever so elusive, and people are saying, well, I have my academic credentials, but what else stands in the way of me getting my dream job? And like we said earlier, getting a livelihood and a meaningful one, or a decent job, is every young person's dream. After coming from high school, from college, from vocational training, you want a job, but this job is just not there. But joining me in studio is a gentleman whose job is to get you a job. I'm talking about Paminas Wenaina, who is HR at the Corporate Staffing Services. All they do is, simple term, they hook you up. Karibu sana, Paminas.
Thank you, buddy.
Paminas, you've seen that conversation. People are saying, well, over and above my degree, I don't have a job. There's a lady who's saying, should we stop tuache kusoma? Something like that.
Yeah.
From where you sit and you deal with this every single day, what is this that stands in the way of a young person who's gone to school and wants a job?
You've brought up a very important aspect.
Right.
And what I can say that if you look at the labor market right now, the number of graduates being churned out on a yearly basis by the universities, the numbers are bigger than the opportunities out there. So it calls for you as an individual to be very creative in your job search. Because unlike in the early days where in your third year, somehow you knew where you'd end up in terms of a job. Right now it's very competitive. So you are finding it's very easy to give up, and that is where you are hearing some of the respondents say you have to have a godfather, you have to know someone and all that. You have to be creative, and you must know that the method that works in the 80s and the 90s, they're not
where your
applicable.
Uncle writes a small note to the boss of a certain corporation.
Remember, at that time, probably you were the only graduate in the village. Right now, the private universities, the universities are churning close to 100,000 graduates. So look at the numbers and the opportunities out there.
Well, Nina, you've talked about being creative. What exactly does this entail? Well, I've gone through school. I have my BA. I got lucky, had an year to spend, so I did my MBA. And I'm here looking for a job. How more creative can I get?
The best way to answer that is to tell you what happens, for example, at our firm, corporate staffing services. Whenever we put a job advert, you probably find between 800 to 3,000.
Okay. For one job
For one
vacancy.
job. For one job vacancy. And out of these, majority meet the minimum.
Which is, say,
they have the education that you want, a university degree, they have a professional paper, and they have maybe 1 or 2 years of experience. So what I'm looking for as a recruiter is that something extra. Have you been in leadership position? Have you demonstrated that beyond the qualifications I'm looking for, beyond the skills that I'm looking for, there's something additional that you can give to an employer?
And this is what employers are saying. A lot of the people putting up their applications are not job ready.
Yes, they just assume because I have the minimum qualifications, I have the papers, that I deserve this job. It doesn't work that way.
Paminas, in putting out our CVs, we always write our hobbies, and I'm good in poetry and like photography. How useful is this information?
The question to ask yourself by the time you put pen to paper is how relevant are they?
Okay.
If probably I'm looking for a salesperson and you tell me that in your spare time you do make presentation out there, that's fantastic.
Okay.
But
if you are a good hairdresser,
if you're a good hairdresser, it doesn't add value.
Right.
So the key thing here is to ask yourself, not even just in terms of hobbies, whatever you're putting there in paper, how relevant is it? Because also, even I as an employer, I don't have all the time to sit down and critique your CV and try to look out how suitable you are. Make the work easy for me.
Paminas, there are a lot of us who are entitled, okay? So you go to school, you've done your Bachelor of Commerce, you've done your CPAK, and you're thinking, someone needs to give me a job. There's this employer who's seated on this other side who says, well, you can have all that, but you're not quite ready, okay? And so you may need a bit of time to get to that point where you're actually giving value. Are we also saying that our training does not meet the job requirement out there?
I would say it's two ways. We were talking off camera, and I was telling you that universities nowadays, they've expanded. And they're not able to give that individual attention. So in terms of guidance, the universities are failing there. But even you as an individual, we are seeing a trend where nowadays people are spending more time accumulating papers as opposed to actually practicing what they've learned. For example, when it comes to accounts, you don't have to have completed accounts for you to go.
You don't need a CPAK.
Exactly. You don't need that for you to be useful. By the time you're done with part one, you could get some internship somewhere, practice, get some relevant skills. Because employers know.
So this is what you're actually looking for?
Yes.
You're looking for someone who's been there.
Who's been there, who understands how an office lands, who understands the kind of response, you know, when you've worked in an office, there's something you learn about responsibility, about how to deliver, to meet the expectations of the employer and those ones of the client. So employers are looking at those do you have those soft skills? They are the things they can be able to add on. But unfortunately, those soft skills, you can only get them in an employment situation. It might mean you volunteering at no cost. It might mean you going for several internships.
So we need to move away from this idea that when I'm looking for an internship, I'm looking for a job.
Yes, precisely.
That I'm hoping that at the end of my internship, these people feel nice and retain me.
Yes.
So we need to open our minds and realize that maybe that's what it is. It's just an internship.
It's an internship.
Right.
It's an opportunity for you to enhance your skills.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And remember, actually consider yourself lucky because their employer is using resources to train you.
Right.
Yeah. You are not productive at that stage.
Right.
Yeah.
Paminas, there are also lots of people who've gone for interviews. You're highly qualified. You did not get the job because most probably the person interviewing you also doesn't know exactly what they're looking for. Do we have those cases?
We do have those cases, and I would say, but firms are also looking into upgrading,
right?
If I may use that word, because what you're finding is that they are realizing their mistakes. When you hire someone and you aren't very clear from the beginning,
right,
chances of this person delivering to expectations are very minimal. So you're finding, at least for firms, they are going back to the drawing board and seeing where did we make mistakes. If it's developing proper job description, they do that.
Right.
If it's using consultants, they also do that.
Right. We're bringing this to a landing, but Paminas, as an individual, say I apply at one of the big firms, and a multinational, a blue chip. We're talking about the Safaricoms, the EABLs of the day. How do I get to know exactly what I'm bringing into this, other than my qualifications? What do I tell the panel when they tell me what exactly are you bringing on the table? I mean, this is a big organization recording interesting and impressive numbers in terms of their revenues. This single young person, straight from an MBA class, what do I know that this is exactly what I'm bringing on the table?
Bonnie, you've got to know yourself, and you don't get to know yourself on the last day or when you want a job. You've had 4 years in campus.
Right.
What achievements have you had during that period? Write them down. Yeah. If it's leadership position you had, write them down, no matter how minimal it may look. Yeah. If it's somewhere you went for a conference, came out with something, just have also that one.
So we need to have a culture of documenting.
We need to have a culture, exactly. People need to realize
that
who am I as a person.
Seminar in Limuru on leadership is something that you could be looking for.
Yes.
Okay, interesting. Paminas, our time is up. It's a Monday, still on holiday, but final word to a young person out there who's looking for a job. They might have the right qualifications. What is this one thing that they can do as a tomorrow and improve their chances?
They need to start taking initiative.
Okay.
The world does not owe them a job.
The world owes you nothing.
It owes you nothing. It's for you to take initiative. It's for you to go out there. You face disappointment, but you only become better if you take initiative. From tomorrow, Tuesday, 3rd of June.
Yes.
Yeah.
Take initiative.
Yes.
Pamina Zonaina, who is the HR at Corporate Staffing Services, has been speaking to me on what exactly you need to give you that edge. And as he says, the world owes you nothing. And these are the kind of conversations we'll be having every Monday at about 9:30 on the Job Center.